All right. For all those that are watching, I'm about to trim, a brisket, So, I'm gonna start by getting the excess fat off of the main portion of the brisket before I go about separating the point from the flat. This is important because you don't want to have an excess of fat on there. You just want the fat to help it to be tender and juicy, and the rendering to give it the good flavor. So you want to get maximum yield meat-wise in doing this. So what I like to do is get a hold of a brisket when it's cold. This side of frozen, and it's easier to remove the membrane of the fat, and you basically peel it off. You have a nice sharp paring knife, and you get up underneath there. You can see there's the strands of the membrane. You just basically almost like a brushing motion across there. Because even though I will be cleaning this brisket shortly, I like it more stiff with a bit more resistance when I am removing the fat. It makes it that much easier. So, because once you wash it or whatever, or clean it like I usually do, the fat becomes a lot more flimsy and less slipperier, and it's kind of frustrating to deal with. So I come over here. It's almost like scoring it a little bit. Just give you something, give you the ability to peel it off. And then you get up underneath there with that brushing motion. And you do this done properly, you're going to just basically go up against, and I'll turn this around so you can see a little better. Just run it across the fat like so. You can pull it back without cutting the meat, because obviously you want maximum yield on the brisket once you cook it. So this is kind of part one. I'm going to do this preparation in sections because it's such an extensive process, at least where I'm concerned. But once I get this done, see, that's kind of frustrating because sometimes, if you go a little too fast, you may get some meat in there. You don't want to get any of it in there. You want to basically get you a lip that you can pull back on. So I just run this across here, right across the fat, and then pull it back from the meat. So you need to be patient. Yeah. Takes a steady hand. There you go, see? So we get up under here again, and we get another lip, a little more separation. As you can see, then you can use that cutting edge a little bit to get it started. But, so I think, this is something right here that, for me, making a brisket's kind of a labor of love. So being that there's so many steps, I like to take my time with them. And doing all this preparation for me is very, very calming, very relaxing, because I got a pretty clear understanding that all of the time that's put in this preparation is going to result in a superior product at the end. Like I tell people that ask me all the time, about making brisket, about doing any barbecue. There are no secrets in barbecue. They're just techniques. Some are proprietary, some are common, but whether people want to share them or not is the thing. I can tell you everything that I do, but if you don't know how to apply it, then, well, you're just going to be barbecuing and emulating a technique. If you don't understand the technique and therefore can't apply it correctly, then you're not going to do too well with that brisket. So like I said, we get up under here. So, see, here we go again. And we pull that back, and this is like not quite frozen, but that nice stiffness to the fat. which really helps with the preparation. Okay. There we go. See, it's cold enough to where, and the moisture in the meat is kind of crystallized a little bit, and that's cool. That makes it so much easier. As you see, I cut and pull that back. There we go. Okay. There we go. Got a little bit of meat in there, but you know, like I said, it's inexact science when it comes to that trimming like that. But I just want to get the process going. There we go. Okay. So having gotten that, you can see now, see more just meat there. We have this layer of fat. And now what I do is here. There we go. See? These little layers are here. Slash across. Get down underneath there. Once again, get that lip that you can grip and pull back. And it'll help as you go ahead and trim. There you go. There. So, I go ahead and take a knife and slice at the part that's really fat on the end. You know, it's not really sharp, but you want to get down in there. I do it layer by layer, so it's not trying to cut deep and get it all off at the same time, because what ends up happening is you'll cut down into the meat. Okay, they're pretty much inextricably linked because their fat is like heavy on that piece of meat, kind of like hard belly fat. So what you want to do is make sure you can get around it in a way that follows. Okay. Okay. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to come back down across this, because this portion right here, once you get through that, those layers, will get you the part where where the point and the flat are joined. There's a membrane in between, and if you can get to that, then it's going to make it that much better. See? Okay, so now here's the fat cap. This is where a lot of people go back and forth. Do we want to have a thick fat cap and let it cook off, render? Do you want to have a thin one? I'd prefer to trim mine down to about a quarter of an inch thick. So obviously there's a lot here. So what I do is do a couple of test cuts to see how deep it goes before it gets to the meat. Now obviously this one has a pretty significant fat cap on the brisket, but that's okay. We'll trim back a bit at a time, layer by layer. And since it's so cold and that fat is solid, it makes it easier to cut it evenly. You know, it's something you're just shearing it off. Okay, and you don't have to worry about getting through it and then getting to the meat just yet. See, we're starting to get through there. See right there? So that's fine right there because now we know how much leeway we have to do this fat cap cut. Okay?
Well, as long as we close before the end of the summer in Monaco, I'm fine. Mike, I think I'm losing my connection.
Yeah, so am I.
How about now? How about now? Mike.
There we go. Okay. So
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old. For me, this it takes a toll on everyone, and it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes. This disease, this ravage
okay.
a family.
One of the keys is you want to get a very flat angle with the knife right along the edge of the cut of meat. So that allows you a little bit of leeway. So when you're trimming back this fat, you won't go deep and get to the meat before you're ready or before you get too much of it off. Okay, see? So I'm working on the end right about now. Once again, this is something I learned at long last after cleaning first and then trying to trim the fat. You don't want to have a situation where you have the fat is all jiggly. It's like almost like this, like a bubble top to it texture, and that shows up when it cooks out. And it's not very appealing to look at, you know, especially once you got the bark built up. It doesn't look that good. So, see, I'm skimming again because I know I'm close to the meat here, and that's fine. Okay, we got this area trimmed nice and close. Like I said, about 1/8 of an inch is plenty, you know, because when you're cooking it slow and low, as I often do, you know that it's going to have plenty of time to mingle with that marinade and the seasoning, and then those juices that come down over the meat itself and throughout end up having a much more direct effect. There we go. There we go. So we're getting closer to the meat. Okay. All right, making a lot of progress. So you can see right there that we were successful in getting the fat cap trimmed down. You see how thin it is right there, okay? So it's pretty close to the meat, and at the low temperature I'll be smoking it at, it'll be easy to render this over time. And then the flavor situation is going to be that much better. So what we're doing right now is basically sculpting a little bit as we get this together. Okay. What? What'd you say, babe? I don't know. How do you know that? Oh, yeah. He's a Masonic rider, too. Sorry about that. White bag's been quick. It happens. So anyway, so we got one side done, all right? And this side sounded kind of thaw a little bit, so we want to make sure we go ahead and get after this trim before it gets to where it's flimsy, okay? Okay. See, that's awesome right there. You can trim that back. Okay, I gotta get more to the fat because a little bit of meat's coming on, but that's all right. It's just a little bit. It's not like it's a major cut. What ends up happening is this is the part where it's closer to the meat. You see that? Let me get my paring knife and get in there and get this, do the stripping. Okay, the cutting edge of that will help you get in there and get to where you can pull it back. So what I do, I come down right across it and I can pull it back. Ooh. There we go. We got away from the meat there. And it's coming with us. The fat is coming with us, was good. Because this is the narrowest part of the brisket. So you don't want to be fooled by what appears to be really thick fat there. Okay. But for me, I get those like scoring a little bit, come cut across the fat. And then when that happens, and then once I get close enough to see where the meat's at, then I go ahead and change the angle a little bit.
And nightmares.
Some of the police officers that also worked the case were never the same after that.
On the neighborhood's quiet streets.
Alright. It's almost like ripping paper the way it sounds and the way it comes on. But that's one of the things that's kind of motivating about it a little bit, because you know you're getting it done. You know you're getting down through there. Okay. See these layers.
Before we went, my breast became within an inch of his face.
Okay. Okay. Getting there. Okay. Now we're getting to where we get close to this and pull this right back. See that? I'll turn it around so it's a little bit better. Angle. Okay. So basically running that tip of that knife right across where the strands of the membrane are trying to hold on to the fat. And I'll start another flap. See? Like I said, you have to be patient so you don't get to going too fast.
What you call me?
Said you a mean witch.
We got to stop this right now. You don't know nothing about me, okay? Don't be calling me a witch. You don't know nothing about me.
Yeah, I'm acting all courteous and stuff, trying to spark up a conversation. Brother gotta call you a witch to get you.
Look, I'm a black woman, okay? I deserve respect. Don't be calling me a witch. I'm a witch. Your mama's a witch.
We ain't talking about my mama, we talking about your
Well, so we got the main portion of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back at the next stage after I got most of this work done. We're going to work on separating the point from the flat, all right? So I'll catch y'all later.